Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another episode of Raise Masters Radio. I'm your host, Adam Carswell. Today, joined by, someone that I've known in our community for a long time, and I knew him even before he joined Raise Masters and Capital Collective. He is a baller, has raised over 150 million. Uh, Back when I first met Hunter, and I want to say 2017, 2018, one of the first things that Hunter kind of advised me to do was go through the first 30 episodes of this show, actually, that you're listening to right now. And Matthew Owens was in those first 30 episodes. And as soon as I listened to that interview, especially at the time, I was so new to this industry, I hardly understood a lot of what you guys were talking about. But I did know that philosophically, I'm like, all right, both of these guys, I know why I'm here now because I love the way that Hunter and Matt think so similarly when it comes to worldview stuff. So I don't know how, how political we'll get on today's interview. We might just keep it to real estate, but we got a killer in the building. So Matthew, it's good to have you here. And could you tell our audience a little bit about your background and your story?
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I feel the same way about the mentality. I'll say that anti-government hate and anti-taxes, that those fun things we could talk about later. But yeah, to give you a little background on myself, I am a CPA. I quit my CPA firm job in 2006. I just couldn't do taxes and audit and like deal with that my whole life. It was so monotonous. And I know a lot of people out there want that same thing for themselves. They're just, stuck in a job and want to find a way out. And, I actually wasn't sure what I wanted to do at that time until I took some classes on real estate and started understanding it. And I literally got my first deal under contract and I just quit. And I was like, that's it. I'm gonna throw myself to the wolves. Can always go back and do the CPA thing later if I want to, right? It's a good, base of business as well to have that, background. But I just quit and got my first deal under contract, and we were gonna make like 30 grand on that flip, and we ended up making 20 grand on the flip, of course, because they did our numbers wrong. And just learning ever since then. And so I thought, we were killing it all of a sudden in the beginning, starting to flip multiple properties on a monthly basis back in 2006 and seven. And then I realized I was a real estate genius about a year and a half before I got my ass handed to me and punched in the market with the market crash and did not see that one coming. I was too green and new at the time, and the lending market just stopped completely. And I ended up going and taking the hit, and I ended up taking the hit for my investors and taking out money on my credit cards to make sure my investors were made whole. And from that point forward, just hunkered down and pushed forward, and started doing more and more flips. And now we got up to over 1,000 flips now. We have over 35 million lent out to flippers, like you mentioned. I've raised over 150 million now for real estate, and I focus a lot on the capital raise components and different strategies to work with different operators and things like that because I want to spend more time with my kids. I got a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, and we've done a lot of flipping, a lot of strategies, and we have some good investment tools that we work with. But at the same time, it's all about family and the things that are important in life, right? Take that step back and focus on building your strategies around your life and how you want your life to be, right? So, as you know, I just got back from a Vietnam trip for 2.5 weeks. It was super awesome. Everything's cheap out there. It was amazing for a CPA to see that, right? So I was like, we fed 21 people for 210 bucks. It was the most awesome thing on the planet, coming from high California communism over here. One communist country to another, right? So
That's great. Interesting thing that I'm kind of observing is for you, it sounds like, and maybe this is just, I can relate, and I'm sure many other people tuned in right now as well. It's a constant pursuit of more time for you to do what you want to do when you want to do it. You look at your CPA career trajectory that you're on, and you're able to navigate out of that, and then pursued real estate and were really successful with it, but found yourself getting pretty time consumed. And I have seen how you've shifted your business now and are, if outsourcing is the right word, but putting more power into other people's hands so that way you can go to Vietnam for 2 weeks with your family. So, um, for those that kind of feel like they're always on this hamster wheel of creating more time to be with family or whatever it is that makes them happy, what do you feel like now that you've been doing it for a good amount of time is a way that someone else can kind of just like copy your framework?
So I think it's important to understand, whether you're a passive investor investing, in opportunities, or you're an active investor trying to do this, you really need other people. You need other people's support, and you need to be able to delegate to be able to create freedom for yourself, right? And the more you learn how to do that, which is quite frankly just really hard for entrepreneurs to do, because most people that are out there that are pushing forward in different strategies and trying to create cash flow streams, they just are the workhorses that do everything themselves and just keep pushing. And so you have to get out of your comfort zone and really rely on other people and set up the right processes and systems to do that. One of the cool things is while I was in Vietnam, my team raised $2.8 million while we were in Vietnam. While I was like thinking, oh, well, we might have a slowdown or something like that might occur because, I'm not meeting with investors, but my team handled it. My team was on the back end, handling all the operational aspect of it. And, you start to look at that and you're like, wow, this is a testament to the systems that we've set up where I can go on vacation for 2.5 weeks and not worry that my business is going to fail, right? Or a month or so or longer even. Now after going over there, I might want to go live there for a while, but we'll see. It's pretty awesome.
Right.
So, but at the end of the day, it comes down to processes. And when you are, investing in real estate and being an active operator, or you're raising capital for your deals, you have to set up the right processes and systems to be successful. For example, on the capital raising side, which I think is key because it's the kind of the lifeblood to real estate business is the capital, right? You're always going to need more capital if you're doing more deal flow and things like that, right? And so if you're out there and you're just randomly calling people and saying, hey, I got a deal, let me make some phone calls and maybe some emails you're going to send out, or maybe you go to some networking events and try to talk to some new people about it, it's going to be really inefficient on your capital raise strategy, right? If you're just kind of haphazardly going out and doing these without any process or system that you can follow to keep that consistency, right? And so some of the things we do is we actually have that process, especially the sales process, dialed in, where we're focused on where are we getting our leads from? Are we getting them from social media and a lot of our posts there? Are we getting them from referral relationships? Are we getting them from our fund of funds partners? Where are we actually obtaining these leads? And how do we nurture those? How do we be consistent in the sales pipeline and the follow-up process, and then do a consistent nurturing campaign to them? So we have welcome series that goes out to them. We have master classes just constantly adding value. We do podcasts consistently where we're creating more and more content to add that value out there. And that's all part of the nurturing process of people getting to know you over a year or 2 years sometimes before they actually feel enough trust to invest with you, right? And so then it comes down to not just that nurturing process, but the lead follow-up system. And quite frankly, 90% of the capital raise people out there, 90% of the operators out there are just bad at the sales process on the back end, where you need to be following up every single day, every single week with your prospects consistently, dragging and dropping them into the right pipelines and getting them, not only getting them through to commit to say yes, but walking them through the funding process and helping them and making everything streamlined for them so that they don't get stuck. Like, just think of someone thinking, I got to go sign documents and read documents. If you just have that mental picture in your head, you're like, oh, dude, that's like 3 hours of work. Oh my God, that's like crazy amount. Just to get someone to commit to that is crazy hard, right? But if you line out to them, here's the 4-step process to sign your docs: 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and you have a total of 15 minutes or something. Then mentally they're like, oh, that's only a 15-minute task. I got this. I'll get that funding in a lot faster, right? And if you do a 2-minute video walkthrough of here's what you click on, this step to this step to this step to this step, and it makes it so that the fear is gone, right? So you have to be able to set up your systems and processes so that you can help ease that process as best you can, get the right people in the pipeline, set up the right appointments, have consistency of your monthly meetings and your weekly meetings with clients. And that is the key to the capital raise like system right there. So I hope that helps kind of give you clarity on that.
Yeah,
That's the number one tip I'd say for that,
that's
so.
that's great. Well, it shows it's you said eliminating the fear, or maybe just, the investor is envisioning this huge mountain that they got to climb to work with you, and you're saying, hey, here's the quick way to do it. So for those who are listening right now that have not been able to eliminate some of these roadblocks in the way that you guys have. You used signing documents as an example right now, taking it from like what someone might think is 3 hours to 15 minutes. It's a great example. It kind of showed how you're doing it. Is there anything else in the sales process that you've noticed um, investors can be intimidated by that you've been able to knock down some fear up front?
Yeah, so I think a couple of things that we do that's a little bit different that I don't see a lot of operators doing is we have a full Q&A of all of our deals that we do where we actually outline every single question any investor has ever asked and we keep adding to it if more questions come up, right? And so anybody can go through this list and read everything they want about, that deal and any question anybody's asked and it gives them a lot of clarity by doing that, right? And then we also created a custom GPT specifically for our deals so that people can ask questions about those deals and understand, hey, here's the answers to those questions as well. So that trying to ease that burden and mindset of how do they learn about us the most and build that trust in the first place, right? It's one thing to trust you. It's another thing to invest money with you as well on top of that. And the way you get them to actually put capital in with you and have that trust plus that commitment with you is by teaching and showing them this is all the ways we mitigated risk. These are all the things that we've done across the board and any answer anybody's ever had on these questions to give them complete clarity about that deal and make it super easy for them so that it's literally on a silver platter. If you think about this, if you do the due diligence right on an outside operator that you're going to invest with, you're going to go do a background check. You're going to ask them about their track record. You're going to ask them all these different questions about their comfort level, their financial model, everything around, right? But if you're an operator and you have that already built for people, you can just say, here you go. How much more trust do you think that builds by being able to provide that stuff to somebody up front and saying, here you go, here's your package of due diligence that based on my due diligence checklist that I go through when I'm investing with someone else too, right? By being put together like this, it really adds so much value and so much trust that they'll be able to come to you and invest with you a lot easier process because you are so put together on your stuff.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Good reminders for, because we do talk about a lot of this stuff, I think, internally. So it's just good to hear it again. But for anyone who's new to hearing some of the things Matt's talking about right now, like take it to the bank and run with it because I've seen it over and over again. It works, and it's obviously working for him too. What are you working on right now aside from your next vacation?
Yeah, I'm actually going to the Bahamas soon, so it should be pretty awesome.
And actually, was the
The
Bahamas trip, was that a choice that you made after you saw how well things went going to Vietnam?
No, it wasn't. It was already a pre-planned trip. I wish that would be the case, but no. And it's going to be difficult going from somewhere where, the water is 30 cents to $12 for a water in the Bahamas. So that's going to be difficult. But, you know, the so some of the things I'm working on a lot of deals right now. I intend to do a lot of volume after flipping, a ton of houses. I, have a lot of deals on my plate. It doesn't feel so heavy when I basically slowed down and stopped flipping. I stopped lending direct because that's a lot of work. So I started actually just buying debt out there. I know what to buy. I know what due diligence packages need to look like for me to want to do that and how to mitigate the risk on loans. So we're going out there and buying debt on that side, and we have a debt fund that we work on in that regard. And then we have one fund that's an actual mobile home transformation fund that we're doing that is lending to mobile home parks. We have an accounts receivable financing fund that's lending secured against accounts receivables at 25 cents of the value. And then we have a short-term rental fund that we're doing right now as well. And then we always work with investors on a ton of single families and fourplexes and things like that. We help a ton of people with 1031 exchange replacement assets, helping people with buying properties inside their own retirement accounts. And I act as a lot of a financial advisor for people because they really need the plan, the cash flow plan, the strategies of investing in debt and equity deals like mobile home parks that we work on consistently and things like that to build wealth and build tax shelters and inflation hedges and forced depreciation over here while getting good cash flow over here from the note side to solidify your monthly overhead. So these are the strategies that we implement that I'm working on consistently with investors and I love doing now. can do it from anywhere, man. I can travel all over and do this from everywhere, and it's pretty cool being able to do that now. And just it was actually nice when I was in Vietnam. I wake up in the morning, all my emails are there, kick them out really fast, and ready to go. I didn't have 1,000 meetings to deal with, so.
Yeah, I gotta get over there now too. You've I'm in some group chats with you, and I think for the last month I've got nothing but Vietnam updates, so it must be amazing.
It's awesome. Exactly.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Um, before we hop off here, Matt, too, for anyone tuned in right now who maybe is familiar with Raise Masters, or they're just kind of hearing about our network, our community for the first time, aside from like just get off the fence and do it. Like what has the experience really been like for you, and what do you think someone listening right now might get out of it as well?
So, my experience with Raise Masters is I couldn't find a better mastermind to be a part of, quite honestly. I'm actually going on year 3 right now, which is a rarity to me because Hunter's my buddy and I hate paying him money, but it's honestly so worth it from a CPA perspective, I do the math on the relationships that I develop and the people that are raising capital for me, the new deals that I'm able to find, the new relationships, and it's made me way more money than I've ever, paid in membership for this. And I've gotten a lot of new exposure, new direct understanding of business structures. It actually is what's taken my capital raising to that next level from a rudimentary system and processes that were there but not extremely efficient to like that whole other level where I'm able to raise capital with my team while I'm gone, right? Where I have the right marketing systems, the right nurturing processes, the right content development teams, all of that is dialed in now. And honestly, it's all because of what I've learned at Raise Masters and the importance of those types of things and how to set up the systems to get leads flowing into your system automatically through your content and through your relationships. So it's been absolutely insanely awesome to have that experience. And I have really deep long-term relationships. It's like a family, dude. Like it's amazing what people actually go through, and everybody's there to help each other. That's what's different is you're not sitting there seeing all these people trying to sell you on stuff or anything like that. This is quality people that are actually involved in real estate that has tons of deal flow and tons of capital allocators, tons of capital raisers. So you get a mix and a good place to find investments that you can invest in and capital sources and things like that that you can develop. So it's really exciting for me to be a part of it.
Yeah, we love having you here for just hearing all the reasons that you shared there too. It's like just love hearing that because that's what we strive for. And the whole family thing, I know is like a cliche that like every company, even like Fortune
Of course.
500 we're family here. But
Yeah.
I gotta agree with you. Like you attract who you are, and so to have you in here and several I don't know if anyone's as much of an anarcho-capitalist in our group as much as you and I are, but like it's a great community. You're right. So thank you for being a part of it and for coming on the show, man. Any parting words of wisdom just in general for our audience?
Definitely do your homework if you're an operator or an investor. You got to make sure that you're, being safe out there and being smart with your investments. There's a lot of great opportunities out there, but do your homework. I've been burned so many times from, bad relationships and stuff like that, that I think it's important to reiterate that, so many times. And we have a 200-point due diligence checklist that you guys can use for free. Our website is MathewOwens.com with one T in Matthew, and you can download our due diligence checklist and massively help you guys. It's like 200 points on the different stuff we do on multifamilies that you can kind of use for other asset classes as well. So really good thing to start with, is that piece of it. And when you find those right and do the right homework and find those investments, that's how you develop that cash flow stream and that diversified portfolio so you can be free. And that's the goal, right? So
And that's the way you do it on a podcast interview too. You give your audience one call to action. So could you say that URL one more time?
yes, sir. MathewOwens.com with one T in Matthew. My parents couldn't spell, so it's one T, so I got to deal with that my whole life.
MathewOwens.com. You guys got if you need help on how to spell it, it's in the show notes. But MathewOwens.com. Thank you, Matt, for coming on the show and investing your most valuable resource with us, your time.
Do you want to learn how to create financial freedom in your life through real estate and take your investing business to the next level? If so, you can follow us in one of the following ways.
First, you can take one of our free webinars on how to analyze property, how to raise capital for real estate, and how to market and find deals. Three of the key pillars to becoming a successful real estate investor. Number two, you can join us on our mailing list where you'll get tips and tricks on real estate investing directly to your inbox. And number three, you can take our 6-month real estate course that teaches you every aspect of real estate investing you can think of, and more importantly, create financial freedom in your life through real estate investing strategies that I teach. If you want a master's in real estate in 6 months, this course is for you. We're going to go over how to raise money, promissory notes, syndications, fixing and flipping, buy and hold investing, tax and legal structures, self-directed retirement accounts, financial education, how to run a business, how to market and find your deals, and most importantly, how to create that financial freedom in your life so that you can stop trading your time for money and create passive real estate cash flow that you can live off of. If you're interested, go ahead and click on one of the links below, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the other side.